I'm Chris Hansen, right now on Crime Watch Daily from here in New York. Murder mystery in the Bay Area.
It was a very violent crime scene.
A single mom working as a nanny savagely killed.
She was raped, she was murdered.
Detectives investigate a bartender and a boyfriend.
Obviously, I'm going to be the first suspect.
But they hit a wall when the last people to see Ashley Yamauchi alive abruptly stopped talking.
They know something. I really feel strongly about that.
Is there a giant cover-up? Melissa McCarty is on the case. Plus, a Crime Watch Daily update. The hunt for an adorable 6-year-old Arizona girl ends with a gruesome discovery.
I wasn't there. I wasn't there to stop this from happening to you. I'm so sorry.
But the mystery deepens. The body of Isabel Celis was found suspiciously close to another missing girl's body. Are the two unsolved cases connected? Right now.
Andrea Isom, sir, with Crime Watch Daily.
Jason Matera with Crime Watch Daily.
This
I'm Elizabeth. I'm here with Crime Watch.
I'm Michelle from Crime Watch Daily.
is Crime Watch Daily.
We'll find you again. We always do.
Welcome to Crime Watch Daily, everyone. I'm Chris Hansen. We start today in Northern California, where a single mom was brutally murdered and police need help finding her killer. Our Melissa McCarty is here now with all new details. Hey, Melissa.
Chris, Ashley Yamauchi was a nanny doing what she could to take care of her 8-year-old daughter. But after a night out at her favorite local bar, Ashley would end up dead. A brother's anguish captured in words written just hours after receiving the worst news of his life.
You want me to read it to you? I could read it to you.
Yeah?
On December 16th at 7:32, half-clad and lifeless is how they found you. The death of my sister puts a hole in my heart, but the way you were took is the unbearable part. What happened to you prior to your untimely death? Did you plead for help with your last dying breath?
Did she plead for help?
This was a moving fight, a vicious, moving fight.
Did anyone hear anything at all?
She was raped, she was murdered.
What really happened the night Ashley Yamauchi was killed?
No real man ever treats a woman like that.
And why is no one talking?
I believe there's more to this story.
This is a murder.
It is a picture those who knew Ashley Yamauchi might find odd, because it appears this was one of the very last times she would be photographed. Without a smile on her face.
She was always smiling. She was always happy. I met Ashley in 4th grade. We lived down the street from each other, and after school, the first day of 4th grade, my doorbell rang and it was her, and she said, "Hi, I'm Ashley. Do you want to be friends?"
She randomly knocked on your door?
Just randomly knocked on my door. Yeah.
That's gonna be my friend.
Yeah.
And that was just the beginning of what her family would describe as typical Ashley.
She just speaks her mind. There's no filter, really.
What kind of things did she like to do?
She collected a lot of shoes, actually.
She was a shoe collector.
Yeah, she had a lot of shoes.
Not the cheapest habit, but to make ends meet, the Bay Area native worked as a full-time nanny.
She loved the kids. She definitely had fun with the kids.
Which was good, considering she gave birth to one of her own at the age of 25, a little girl she adored.
She became more responsible. She made sure that she was well taken care of.
Unfortunately, things didn't work out between Ashley and the father of her child, but by most accounts, they kept things amicable.
They had to split custody, her and the father.
Eventually, Ashley met a new man named Parker, and they quickly became a serious couple.
I knew Parker. I met him through her. He was a nice guy. He cared about Ashley a lot.
And she was happy with him?
She always knew that that's who she would end up with.
Really?
She said they had their problems, but she's always said that that's who she was going to end up with.
But then, just how big were those problems? There was at least one report of domestic violence during their 5-year relationship. And though the two appeared to stick it out, by the time Ashley was 33, she seemed to be making some big changes. As in, pack up and move to the other side of the country big. Now, when she told you, hey, I'm
going to New York in a few weeks. What did she say was the reason for that?
To go to school, to be an esthetician. She had talked about it for several months before, and when she had the opportunity, she really wanted to do it.
Just 2 weeks before she passed, we were actually, my mom and I, we were helping her move her stuff, packing her stuff up. So it was in motion, yeah.
Would you say she was in a happy place?
I think she was excited about school, but she was having a little bit of problems also, you know, I guess with somebody else.
That somebody else, Ashley's mom believes, was the father of Ashley's daughter.
Because I don't think he wanted her to go to New York. You know, I think there was a big fuse going on then about her deciding to go there.
A moot point now, as Ashley would never make that trip. Monday, December 15th, Ashley walks from work to hang out at one of her favorite bars, a place well known to Lieutenant Rafael Opata of the San Rafael PD.
Tell me about this bar.
It was called the 4th Street Tavern. I used to go there. It just was a great place. I mean, it was one of those places where you felt comfortable going there.
She frequently went there, and I know that she was friends with the people that were regulars there.
Including the bartender.
The bartender I know was a friend of hers because I've seen in her camera pictures of him at her house.
And as far as anyone knows, that bartender would be one of the last people to see Ashley alive. The next morning, December 16th, rain slicked streets from the night before, and a gruesome discovery in the parking lot behind the 4th Street Tavern.
We heard what was reported to be a dead child, actually, naked behind this bar. We got there, and it was really clear when we walked up that this was a very bad incident.
Torn clothes, bruised flesh. Ashley's asphyxiated body left wedged between a parked car and an old chain link fence.
I have to tell you, it was one of the more difficult scenes that I'd been to. It was a very violent crime scene. It looked to me like she fought very hard and that she did everything she could to get away from this person. This was like a desperate struggle to survive.
Now, there was evidence of a sexual assault as well. You believe she was raped or an attempt?
It was pretty obvious that if that wasn't the primary motivator for the attacker, it definitely was included in the attack. She was found nude from the waist down.
And these were the details Ashley's family and friends would soon have to hear. Forced final images of the person they loved.
My brother had called me and asked if I had heard about Ashley being murdered. And I had thought, you know, I thought he was playing some sick and twisted joke at first. I thought, just come on, you know, shut up, you know. And he said, no, you know, I'm serious. And I, shut up, you know, didn't believe him. And then when he put my mom on the phone, then I realized this is serious, you know.
In fact, it was Ashley's mother who helped confirm the identity of her body.
I called up the police department and I told them about the tattoo, Ashley's tattoo on her leg, and they said, yeah. And that's when I knew it was true.
The horrific way in which she died, and that her 8-year-old daughter now had no mother, these things were clear. The question still unanswered.
Do you think it was random? Do you think she left with someone she knew?
Coming up,
we found some physical evidence.
The investigation into who killed Ashley Yamauchi.
I heard some guy walked up and said, "What are you doing with my girl?"
And
she's the only woman that I ever loved.
A revealing interview with Ashley's boyfriend.
There was a domestic issue years ago between you two where police were involved. Can you explain that?
Was it a crime of passion, or was it rather a crime of opportunity? These are the questions police are asking after a single mother is found dead in a parking lot behind her favorite bar. Melissa McCarty is back with more of our all-new investigation.
A doting mom, an infectious smile. These are no longer the first images Heath Yamaguchi imagines when he thinks about his little sister, Ashley.
Does the dark overshadow the light for you at this point?
furless, of a better term, I guess, yeah. Because of what happened to her, like, I get scenarios in my head. It's almost like a nightmare.
A nightmare in which Ashley Yamauchi was beaten, sexually assaulted, and suffocated after leaving a San Rafael, California bar. But while her body was left out behind the bar for all to see, who killed her was much less clear.
This has been a difficult case from the beginning, and we have not caught a break on this.
In the hours after the discovery, investigators canvassed the area, starting with the large apartment complex immediately adjacent to where the murder occurred.
Did you have an abundance of witnesses?
Part of our investigation, we went and knocked on every door, and we couldn't find anybody that had heard anything. It had stormed the night before. Some people suggested that it was because the rain was coming down pretty hard. You'd think somebody would have heard something, but we're told they didn't.
Investigators also collected as much evidence as they could at the scene, including DNA from Ashley's body. But because of her prolonged exposure to the rain the night before, the tests come back inconclusive.
We found some physical evidence that is helpful. Technology has not totally come along to the point where we can test all of it.
So no smoking gun pointing to Ashley's killer and no witnesses outside the bar. But when police start asking questions inside, a clear picture of Ashley's final hours began to emerge.
Do you think it was random? Do you think she left with someone she knew?
At the bar itself really was the bartender and a couple of the patrons that were inside. This was close to closing time. What I know is that she went outside with somebody she'd met in the bar. And who knows, a lot of people go out the back door to have a smoke, whatever. What we're told is that the bartender closed the door and locked it because he didn't want people going in and out of the back door. That was a business thing.
But Ashley's friend Kelly McCormack says she's heard a slightly different version of the night.
I heard she was talking to somebody who she knew that was in that circle, and some guy walked up and said, "What are you doing with my girl?" And that the guy she was standing with just ran away because he was scared.
No comment from police on that rumor, but Lieutenant Pata says they did eventually track down the person Ashley supposedly left with that night.
Took a little doing to find that person, but we eventually did. He was a person that was very interesting to us because he had some behavior things that made it kind of suspicious. You know, he pretty much picked up and left right after the incident. Didn't stick around, didn't come forward to the police.
But the man apparently denied any involvement. And with no physical evidence or witnesses to the murder, cops had no cause to charge him. Then again, he wasn't the only person police wanted to talk to. There was the father of Ashley's child, who police questioned and quickly released, and then someone else.
And you were saying at the time she had a boyfriend. Police interviewed him.
I think so, yeah.
Parker Harper, Ashley's long-term boyfriend. Though the two had lived together for most of their 5-year relationship, at the time of Ashley's murder, she was staying with a friend before moving to New York, and Parker was living elsewhere. In fact, Parker himself says he was one of the first people questioned by police in the hours after Ashley's death. And now, he's agreed to sit down with Crime Watch Daily to tell his side of the story.
Tell me about that night. Did you talk to her that night?
You know, she texted me telling me that she was gonna go down to the bar. I just texted her good night, you know, be careful. And that was it.
And then the morning after,
I texted her a few times that morning and like she didn't respond, which wasn't really that odd. And I figured she was still asleep. And the police came to my work and basically took me outside and told me, you know, that she had passed away. From there, we went to the police station. Obviously, I'm gonna be the first suspect because unfortunately, in most of these situations, it is someone you know and it is a man or like a domestic violence situation.
And even Parker admits there was reason to suspect this could have been that.
I just want you to clear up, if you could for us, there was a domestic issue years ago between you two where police were involved. Can you explain that?
We liked to party, you know, I was drinking, she was drinking, and things got out of hand, people got shoved. I paid for, I have anger issues, just something I really regret in my life.
Parker says he and Ashley quickly patched things up after that. As for what police thought,
past that first interview, I didn't feel like I was a suspect at all, but obviously it has to cross their minds.
Officially, police have ruled out no one. But according to Parker, as well as Ashley's friends and family, the relationship was strong. And even though Ashley was getting ready to move, temporary distance didn't mean permanent separation.
When you guys were talking about the future, your future, what did that look like?
Hopefully, like marriage and more family, but I mean, that was something we both wanted and talked about, but yeah, that really didn't happen.
She's pretty much your world at this point. I mean, she was your family, she was your best friend, she was the love of your life?
Oh, definitely, yeah. She's the only woman that I ever loved.
And when it comes to the person who so violently took her from the world?
What kind of worthless piece of steals an 8-year-old's mother because they can't have their sexual needs met? Disgusting.
So who was that man? After questioning multiple people and following up on several leads, police decide to go back to the bar to ask more questions. And that's when everything suddenly changed.
Now, I'm told this bar owner wasn't exactly eager to help out. Did he tell his employees not to talk?
We were told that they did not have to talk to us. And then all of a sudden, everybody didn't want to talk to us without a lawyer, which blew us away.
Coming up,
we do know that he was one of the last people to see Ashley Yamauchi alive.
I go searching for answers from one of Ashley's last contacts, and
I have this sick feeling that we may have talked to this person.
How close are police to finding the killer?
Now to the conclusion of today's murder mystery out of Northern California. Let's head back to Melissa McCarty.
Chris, Lieutenant Ralph Pata has only one unsolved homicide in his long career, the murder of Ashley Yamauchi, and he is determined to close this case just like all the others.
It's been 8 years since soon-to-be retired Lieutenant Rafael Pata began investigating the savage murder of Ashley Yamauchi.
I have a year and a half left. I really don't want to leave with this left behind. I want to bring some justice to Ashley, to her daughter, and I don't think people should get away with murder.
But since the beginning, police have caught few breaks. DNA evidence found at the scene has come back inconclusive, and that's not all. Not long after Ashley's murder, detectives went back to talk to the people at the bar where she was last seen alive, and later found dead. But to Lieutenant Pata's surprise, everyone suddenly stopped talking.
You mentioned the bar owner. Did he tell his employees to not speak to you?
Well, I think initially he was trying to be as helpful as he could, but without speaking for him, I could only assume that there was some apprehension, perhaps because it happened in the bar. I mean, it brings unwanted attention to them by the police and by the Alcoholic Beverage Control Board and the community in which they're in. So I get that, but this is a homicide.
And Ashley's loved ones say it's long past time for someone to say something.
I do feel that the bar has something. They know something. I really feel strongly about that.
You know, what if that was your wife? You know? I mean, people don't like to talk to the cops. I understand that. But, I mean, there's no gray area here. There's no gray area. This is black or white. This is a f***ing murder, you know?
Crime Watch Daily wanted to get the bartender's side of the story, but failed to reach him by phone.
Please leave your message for...
Still, we were determined to give him his say.
If we end up visiting this bartender, is there anything that you would want to ask or want him to answer?
Who was she talking to that night? He was the one serving her all night. He would know if someone was buying her drinks. He would know if she was talking to a stranger or somebody that she knew. He's, I think, has more answers than anybody.
And with that assertion in mind, we tracked down 2 possible addresses. There was no answer at the first address, so I went to door number 2. Unfortunately, another dead end.
We knocked several times and no one answered. We do know that he is one of the last people to see Ashley Yamauchi alive that night.
Do you think police will ever find who's responsible for killing her?
I think they know who's responsible for killing her. Unfortunately, at this point, there's nothing they can do about it.
In fact, Lieutenant Pata nearly confirms as much, but he also says they may be closer than ever.
You know, I looked at this case yesterday just to go over it one more time, and I was rereading a statement from somebody, and it kind of made my blood go cold when I read it. I believe we've talked to this guy. I think the person that did this has sat where you're sitting, and we've had a conversation. I can't prove it, which is why this case has gone no farther at this point. But I have this sick feeling that we may have talked to this person.
Lieutenant Pata says he's now narrowed his focus to at least 3 people. And while he couldn't tell us who they are, he says they should know justice could be coming soon.
We resubmit physical evidence all the time in this case. So we're not done with it. It's just a matter of technology catching up to what we have.
What would you say to that person if they were watching?
I would say take a deep breath, admit what you did, be responsible, be accountable.
Accountable for a night that would change multiple lives.
This person still enjoys their family, their friends, they go out, they continue living, and for no reason she doesn't. Her daughter doesn't have a mother, her mom doesn't have a daughter.
I do miss her. I do miss her a lot. All I care about right now is justice for us, for Ashley and my granddaughter.
I think about her every day. I want her daughter to know how much she loved her, and she was doing what she was doing to try to make good for her, you know? We just have to try to, you know, just remember all the good things and forget about the scumbag that did this. But I will always love her.
As for Ashley's brother, who still has nightmares about his little sister's final moments, the pain today is as visceral as it was when he sat down and wrote this poem to read at her funeral.
Why were you all alone, and where were your friends? Were you with a cold killer, but as a friend he pretends? I worry for Mom and how to relieve some of her pain. How can I help her if I can't even maintain? Whomever did this evil that can't be undone, I wish your fears turn reality as the final outcome. The sorrow I feel is an overwhelming pain to know I won't see you alive ever again.
Someone out there knows what happened to Ashley, and police have 50,000 reasons for them to step forward. That's the amount of the reward for anyone who provides new information that leads to an arrest and conviction in this case. If you know anything, you can call the San Rafael Police Department's tip line. That number is 1-415-485-3000. Up next, a heartbreaking mystery in Tucson after a 6-year-old is snatched from her bedroom. Could little Isabel's kidnapping be connected to the case of another missing girl? Crime Watch Daily with the new clues just discovered by police. Coming up. Now with a Crime Watch Daily update on the story we brought you out of Arizona. A 6-year-old girl is tucked into bed by her parents. However, the next morning, she's gone, and police say it appears she was snatched right from her bedroom window. In the wastelands of the Arizona desert outside Tucson, investigators have just made a grim discovery: the remains of a little girl, Isabel Celis. An adorable 6-year-old girl kidnapped and taken through her bedroom window in the dead of the night.
I didn't even come and check on her. I should have come and checked on her.
A dramatic new development in the cold case of a little girl lost.
The Tucson Police Department will continue to actively pursue those responsible for any kind of involvement in Isabel's death and disappearance.
Is Isabel's kidnapping connected to the case of another missing girl? Will investigators find answers in this surveillance video shot the night Isabel vanished? And will DNA solve this cold case that has baffled police and terrified families in Tucson? Isabel was the baby of the Celis family, adored by her parents Becky and Sergio and her 2 older brothers.
She has her brothers around her fingers, so whatever she wanted them to do, they did. And she loves to paint, she loves to color and do things like that. And baseball. She loved playing baseball.
It was just after 11 p.m. when Becky laid out Isabel's softball uniform for a game the next morning that she kissed her daughter goodnight.
Then I'm like, okay, Isabel, you're getting really tired. It's probably time for you to go to bed, and you have to get up early, and so does Mom.
The next morning, Becky goes to work, and Sergio goes to wake up Isabel for her game, but finds her bed empty.
Boys are waking up at this point, and so I'm like, do you know where your sister's at? And they're like, no. And started looking everywhere, and then started saying, boys, help me find her. I don't know where she's at.
Sergio and his sons frantically search the house and yard. Then one of the sons comes to him with chilling news.
And I'm looking in the garage, and that's when Sergio came running in saying, Dad, her screen's laying on the back, you know, her window's busted out.
Sergio races to the backyard. He finds Isabel's bedroom window wide open. The screen is on the ground. It looks like someone snatched little Isabel from her own bed.
Kind of, you know, freaking out at this point, came back in here, called Becky at work.
I can't remember the drive at all. I just know that I was freaking out and scared, and I just out of my mind.
Becky calls 911, barely holding it together.
So who noticed her gone? Your husband? My husband. I went to work this morning at 7, and I didn't even come and check on her. I should have come and checked on her. Okay, you're almost there, ma'am. Okay.
In the backyard, police find a set of work boot footprints near an electrical box and on top of a gas meter. Then a shocker. Cops turn the spotlight on Sergio, Isabel's father. While Becky's call to 911 appeared to be panicked, Sergio's was anything but.
Hello, I need to report a missing child. I believe she was abducted from my house.
Is Mom there also?
She had just left for work. I just called her and I told her to get her back home.
Sergio's explanation? He couldn't bring himself to believe his little girl had been taken.
I didn't want to be frantic. I didn't want to be panicked. I wanted to be as articulate as I could. You know, I didn't want to be misunderstood.
As the months pass, the Celis family is put under the police microscope.
From the beginning, the police said everybody's a person of interest. We're okay with going through the ringer and having everything part of our lives investigated, and by all means, go right ahead.
What does Sergio say to people who assume he might have something to do with Isabel's disappearance?
Nothing. I mean, I really don't know what to answer to that, because other than, you're wrong.
It may appear to be suspicious behavior, but Sergio has never been named a suspect.
All the family members have been interviewed, and we haven't ruled anybody out.
Could there be clues in this surveillance video uncovered by Crime Watch Daily? It comes from 3 store security cameras pointing toward Isabel's street. At 1:24 a.m., a large van passes through. 2:36 a.m., a private security vehicle stops and hits the lights. Then at 3:32 a.m., a figure crosses the front parking lot. And a little later, another figure of a man crossing. Then at about 8:45 a.m., you can see Isabel's family searching around the house. And here you see Becky racing home in her SUV. But never did we see an image of a little girl. Next, Sergio hires his own private investigator. He points the finger at another family member.
This same individual shipped his car off to another state, then hired one of the best lawyers in Tucson, and bingo, another red flag.
And the possible link between Isabel's murder and another girl. Now back to today's Crime Watch Daily update on 6-year-old Isabel Celis. The little Arizona girl went to sleep in her room like she always did. However, she would not be there in the morning. Now, after years of searching for her, detectives have announced a huge development in the case. The discovery of the remains of 6-year-old Isabel Celis dramatically turned a kidnapping case into what could be a murder investigation.
We appreciate the fact that this case has been very traumatic, not only for the family and friends of the family, but also for the entire larger community.
Cops keep details of their investigation under wraps, but they say the discovery of Isabel's remains in the desert was not by happenstance. After Isabel was snatched from her bedroom, investigators have been looking at everyone close to her, even her own family.
It feels like the investigation has never gone any further than right here. That's what is so frustrating.
That frustration drove Isabel's parents, Sergio and Becky Celis, to hire a private investigator. His name is Jerry Snyder, and the person he believes to be the prime suspect, a shocker.
We looked at one of the relatives of the family and his friend that basically didn't have 6 hours that they could explain as to where they were the day that she went missing.
That relative, Justin Mastromorino, Becky's cousin. Becky and Sergio say he previously lived with them for more than a year.
We need her home safe and sound, you know.
Mastromorino made this impassioned plea the day Isabel vanished. But within 2 weeks, Justin himself disappeared from Tucson.
Shortly thereafter, this same individual shipped his car off to another state. He then hired one of the best lawyers in Tucson, a criminal lawyer, and bingo, another red flag.
Police never named Justin a suspect. He denied our request for a comment, but the friend who claims he was with him the night Isabel disappeared did speak to our Andrea Isom.
How you doing?
All right. So it was April 20th, 420. Yeah.
Tell me what it is. You can say it.
Well, all right, cool. Well, it's the National Weed Smoking Day, so of course we drank and smoked weed and, did all the fun stuff.
The Celis family's private eye claims Sebastian and Justin partied until about 2 a.m., waking up around 8. What does Sebastian say Mastromorino was doing during those 6 hours?
But you admit you don't know 100% for sure if he did leave that night.
Well, of course I don't. Like I said, I was asleep. But, no, I guess not.
Crime Watch Daily wants to give Justin Mastromorino the opportunity to tell us what he knows, if anything, about the disappearance of Isabel.
Justin, we just have a couple of questions. It's not a big deal.
So Andrea went to his mother's place in Florida. That's where the Celis family PI says he shipped his Jeep.
This is the house. This is Mom's house. This is where Justin, we're told, is staying. I don't know what else to do. I think we have to do it. Just hope to God he's in here.
We tried every door, no response. Cops have been frustrated. Many of the 2,200 leads they've gotten have taken them to a dead end.
Some of them have shed some light on some things, others haven't. We're still working this case. It's an open, active investigation.
And now there could be a new direction in the investigation. Crime Watch Daily has learned exclusively that Isabel's remains were found just a quarter mile from the body of another missing girl, 13-year-old Maribel Gonzalez. Maribel vanished a little over 2 years after Isabel disappeared. Tucson cops aren't saying whether the two cases are connected. After the terrified community learned that Isabel was dead, friends and neighbors held a candlelight vigil.
She's a little girl, and
We all have kids. Every year I would tell my husband, tell my family, we would just talk about it and really just pray one day she would make it back home.
But Isabel never came home. That show of love and compassion from strangers is small comfort to a family who had hoped and prayed their precious little girl would someday be found alive.
More than anything, I am so sorry. I am so sorry I couldn't protect you. I wasn't there. I wasn't there to stop this from happening to you. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Please. Please. Please hear us. I'm so sorry. I couldn't protect you.